an extraordinary pleasure it is to be here today at YBF. I was saying to the guys, I used to work next door at National Bank for years and years and had no idea what went on in this building, but used to admire it from the outside. So it's lovely now to come in here and see what's been done with the place, but not just what's been done, but the exciting work that's going on in here. So I am a freshly minted minister, and my title is Assistant Minister for Superannuation and Financial Services and Financial Technology. And when I got the gig, the Prime Minister called me and said, about 5 minutes before he was about to do a press release on it, and said, no, I'm going to make you the Assistant Minister for this role, Superannuation, Financial Services, Financial Technology. You know which part of this I'm the most passionate about, don't you? And I thought, oh gosh, this is a test. But I said, financial technology? He said, yes, absolutely, don't mess it up. And that is exactly right. Financial technology in particular is his baby. He went to the UK a couple of years ago and came back just brimming with ideas about what had been going on over there that he wanted to see implemented in Australia. And of course, part of our plan for a stronger and sustainable Australian economy is about productivity gains. And productivity can only be gained by really innovation, and that's where you guys come in. So on the financial, I'll talk to you very quickly. I know some of you don't work in financial services necessarily, so I will sort of be very brief on some of these issues. But we have post-banking Royal Commission. There is so much work to be done for this government. There's about 40 different recommendations that came out of there that require legislation, and there'll be that covers all aspects of the financial services sector. So there's a lot of work to be done. There's a really tight legislative agenda. Superannuation, I think, is one of the most exciting spaces to work in, and of course that's my background too. I've worked in industry funds and retail funds, and also on the funds management side. So I feel like I've really grown up with this industry. $2.8 trillion, and yet it is quite a sort of a legacy system. It's so archaic in some of its thinking and some of its operations. So there's an awful lot that can be done to make sure that it is serving the Australian people as well as it could be. We're getting the best possible retirement outcomes for Australians that are relying on that investment. And finally, financial technology. Last week we hit a real milestone. It sort of went under the radar, maybe not in your sector, but it certainly went under the radar in the newspapers. But we passed the consumer data right legislation, and that is going to be genuinely transformative. We are the first country to have an economy-wide consumer data right that will extend not just to banking and will facilitate open banking, but also to energy, to telecommunications. The Productivity Commission have recommended that it extends to superannuation. I'd like to see that accelerated, maybe pushed up the ranking a little bit. It could go out to insurance. Now, this is a really exciting development, and when you combine things like the consumer data right with the new payments platform that the RBA have put in place in conjunction with the 13 companies in its consortium that make real-time transactions possible. When you combine that with the Fintech bridge that we've established with the UK to allow sort of a streamlined regulatory arrangements between the UK and between Australia, which of course you know an awful lot about, Chris, and things like the ASIC Fintech sandbox that we can allow some of our startups to test their business model without having to go through the rigmarole of licensing arrangements. And we're going to enhance that and expand that to other financial services as well. There's an awful lot going on in this space, and it is really genuinely exciting. What I'm hoping for is that you guys will be like the smartphones of 10 years ago. 10 years ago when you saw your first smartphone, you thought, oh, that looks pretty interesting, it's quite sexy, but I'm quite comfortable with my Nokia. In 10 years' time, some of the technologies that are being developed right here will be the smartphone of the future. Everyone will have it, and they'll remember the funny old days when we just had those big four banks that everybody invested in, and that was it. It will be entirely different, and it will be cheaper, and it will be more efficient and more effective, and we'll have more people engaged in the system, and that's really the aim of the game. So thank you very much for having me along today. Thank you very much to my hosts here at YBF and to your hosts too. There's incredible work that's being done here, and it's really exciting to meet with some of you and understand your business models a little bit better. Please feel free to keep the lines of communication open with my office. This is the first time we've ever had a Minister for Financial Technology. We want to make sure that we leverage your bright minds and good hearts to make the economy stronger and make Australia a better place. So thank you very much for having me.